What is up, guys? It's Isaac here. I've got a quick little review for you today. As you can tell by the title of this video, as well as what you see in front of yourself, this is the Shimano Curado 70XG. This is an awesome little reel that I've had for a little while now. It was featured in my Which Shimano Reel Should I Get First video, and at the time of that video, I hadn't really had the chance to get out on the water with it a whole lot. Didn't feel like I could really give it a fair shot in terms of an in-depth review, but now that I have had the chance to do that, I'm coming back and I'm doing that. So, first things first, when you pick up this reel, you will notice it is very small. I'm not a particularly large guy, I don't have ginormous hands or anything like this, but you can see this thing just fits in my palm like nothing. Extremely palmable, extremely lightweight. That is an awesome feature about this reel. The Shimano Curado 200i right here, as you can see, is significantly larger. And the area that you will recognize the differences most are, one, line capacity. Obviously, the 200i has a lot more line capacity, but the handle size is what you will notice. It might be a little subtle when you're looking online, but when you hold these two in your hand, you will notice a huge difference. Personally, for me, I like a little bit of extra substance to grab onto in the handle here, but the decrease in the material used for the 70 does contribute to its overall lightweight nature. So, all in all, this is a really cool reel for in terms of palmability, how it feels in your hand, stuff like that. But you definitely want to pick it up in the store and see if you really like the handles just by feeling. It's something to get used to. I didn't like them at first, but I'm definitely a lot more used to them now. So I'm going to go ahead and read off the specs of this reel, what it looks like on paper. So first of all, it is, like I said, it's an 8.2 to 1 gear ratio. It's the XG model. It only weighs 6.5 ounces, has 5 ball bearings plus 1 roller bearing, and it holds 105 yards of 10-pound mono. So I don't know the exact translation to braid, but I can tell you this right here on it is 20-pound braid. I got a 150-yard spool of, the 20-pound Power Pro from Walmart. And I spooled this thing till it was full, and I mean full, all the way up till it was scraping the thumb bar, and there were about 30 yards left on the spool. So I'm going to say it fits around 120 yards of 20-pound braid from Power Pro. So holds a pretty decent amount of line, but it's definitely not something you're going to want to use for deep crankbaits necessarily, and obviously not big swim baits and stuff like that. It's not designed for that. It really is a finesse reel. But you can get away with doing stuff like throwing lipless crankbaits on it. So I've got an 8.2 to 1 gear ratio on it, which most people would consider to not be something that you can use for a ton of different stuff. They wouldn't consider it, what's the word I'm looking for, very versatile. But I'll say I'd use it for more things than I thought I would. So primarily I have this paired up with my Dobyns Fury 734, and I use it kind of for an intermediate flipping stick, if you want to call it that. I use it for my smaller jigs, heavier Texas rigs, stuff like that. But I've also found that I really enjoy using it for lipless crankbaits, because especially at this time of the year where you're wanting to rip it and stop it and rip it and stop it, it's really nice because you can pick up all that slack line in just a few handle turns. This thing is so fast in terms of the gear ratio. It's just so effortless, sorry, to fling that lure all the way across the lake, and just you're picking up that slack every time you burn it and stop it so easily, so effortlessly, and that's really a cool use for this reel. I know Tactical Bassin also, they use this on their square bill rods, which I found to be interesting. Haven't had a lot of experience with that yet, but it's definitely something that I think you could do. So all in all, guys, this reel is really pretty sweet. It's small, and so in that area, the line capacity, it's not the best. But if you're using it for what it's designed for, that's really not a problem. Has a pretty strong drag. This reel really is more powerful than you would think, given that it is a finesse reel. The handles are the only thing that I personally don't like, but that's largely, a preference thing. You feel a lot more power when you hold onto the handles of the 200i, in my opinion. But, it's still an incredibly sturdy reel, I will say. In the first video that I posted talking about some different Shimano reels and which one I think I would recommend, I said that this reel, in my opinion, didn't cast significantly better than the Casitas, and coming back to that, I think it absolutely does. You can fling, a 1/4 ounce jig so incredibly easy and far with this reel, it's not even funny. And another area that this excels in is it's got Hagane, which is kind of a rigidity concept, holding this reel together firm in place. You don't feel any bend or flex when you're reeling something in. very sturdy, you know, nice reel in that regard. So I want to open this up real quick just so you can see the brakes. Sorry. It does have the SVS Infinity system with those white brakes. Casts incredibly well. It's like a, you know, Lake Fork guy describes it as a dimmer switch for lights, and that's exactly what it is. This thing, you can tune it to anything. It's a sweet braking system, and it really has blown away other reels that I've used. Trying to think of what else there is to talk about. It does have X-Chip, as most of Shimano's higher end reels do have, and it's trickling into those lower price point reels, which is nice. So, you know, now that I'm talking about price, I figure it'd be a good time. This reel, the MSRP on Tackle Warehouse is $200. I'll tell you right up front, I wouldn't pay that if I were you. It's a great reel. It really is. It fills a very particular niche. It's excellent at flipping and pitching those light things, those finesse tactics. You can use this for a weightless Senko if you want. You can use it, like I said, for a lipless crankbait, burning it, and you can just cast so effortlessly. But for a guy like me who doesn't have a whole lot of money, it's really not worth it when you can get 2 casitas for this price. Or you can go on eBay and pick up a couple old, you know, Curado eyes now that the Curado K is out, and get a couple of those for the same price probably too. The only reason that I have this reel is because I was able to work out a sick deal on Amazon, and I ended up getting it for around $100. Don't ask me how, it's a long story, but I did. So, super good reel. Highly recommend it. Don't necessarily think that it's the best for the money, but it's a very neat reel, and if you have the money to spend and you can get a good deal on it, I definitely recommend picking one up. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, go ahead and like the video and subscribe for more future videos. I'm going to be getting out on the water soon, but frankly, it's cold still, and I don't have a whole lot of fish catching that I want to show off. So I'll talk to you guys next time. See ya.